everyone, this is PK Entertainment and we're back again, and here now we have another video for you, and this will be a non-spoiler review of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Now despite no spoilers for this movie, there could be ones for all other movies and series within all phases within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so just be aware when going into this overall video. Now Quantumania was released on Friday the 17th of February 2023, and it has Paul Rudd once again reprising his role as Scott Lang alongside Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeffier. We also have the new entry of Kathryn Newton as Scott's teenage daughter Cassie, and Jonathan Majors will make a second appearance as Kang the Conqueror after appearing first in the Loki Season 1 finale, and he is very much the anointed villain for Phase 5 of the MCU. Now, Quantumania is the third entry of the Ant-Man franchise after the first film in 2015, and the second film Ant-Man and the Wasp in 2018, and both were sound financial successes when released. It is overall the 31st entry of the ever-growing and long-running MCU, and this will be the first movie within the Phase 5 of this particular universe. Now in terms of this story, we catch up with Scott Lang post the events of Avengers Endgame, very much basking in the glory of celebrity after the defeat of Thanos. We see him happy with Hope Van Dyne, who has taken over her father's company, despite getting arrested for protesting homeless groups. Cassie has learned to use the PIM particle technology, which includes a device that can send signals to the quantum realm, which was established in the previous Ant-Man movies. Now, whilst the likes of Scott, Hope, and Hank are all impressed with Cassie's ingenuity, Janet Van Dyne warns her of the dangers, but after the message is received within the quantum realm, the device is activated and it transports the whole family into the quantum realm. Both the Langs and Dynes are separated, and as they search for one another, they come across the presence of Kang the Conqueror, who has a tyrannical rule over the realm. As Janet reflects on her history within the quantum realm, the team learn of Kang's intentions to break free of the quantum realm itself through the manipulation of time. The heroes have to band together and prevent Kang's ambitions, which could have all implications for the entire multiverse itself. Now, I'll likely be in the minority here given the recent reactions over the movie, but overall for me, Quantumania is for the most part a very fun, enjoyable and escapist comic book adventure. Whilst it's not top tier Marvel, it's much more watchable than most of the Phase 4 efforts, and it runs at a brisk, very harmless 2-hour runtime, and it's something I feel you can take your kids to enjoy, and I think overall they will have an enjoyable time. Now, as we knew from the trailers, Quantumania is very much dialed up some levels from the low scale heist narratives that we saw from the first two Ant-Man movies, and in many ways it feels less like an Ant-Man movie and much more like a mini Avengers film, very much setting up on what's to come later on within the Phase 5, and perhaps this is where most of the issues lie with the film. But certainly for the first 2/3, it runs along just fine, perfectly mixing up the charm and the humour and the comedy alongside the more serious moments. Now, since we are in the quantum realm, the whole movie's aesthetic has all of the cosmic vibes of the MCU that we've seen mostly from Guardians of the Galaxy and Thor Ragnarok, as we get a whole assortment of wacky, outlandish characters and alien-like beings and organisms, and here there are many echoes of the likes of Star Wars and Avatar in terms of the visual makeup. Now, sometimes it can look visually imaginative, but unfortunately we do get that desensitized green screen effect that's all too obvious now, with characters standing and leaping and running alongside backgrounds that clearly aren't there. But the best part of the movie are clearly all of the cast, which carry enough charisma and enthusiasm to keep you watching the film. Paul Rudd is as ever likeable and rootable as Scott Lang, comfortable in the role as what he's always been ever since the first film. Michelle Pfeffier is probably the standout as Janet. She's terrific, she looks absolutely great even in her elderly years, and for a short while she actually becomes the main protagonist of the film, of which the whole story is centered around the most. And it's so good to see both of her and Michael Douglas, who returns as Hank Pym, still looking energetic and lively enough to keep up with their younger contemporaries, and it proves yet again that form and class can be permanent, as both of them were of course two of the most iconic actors within the 1980s. Now, although being fine within the film, Evangeline Lilly does get a bit sidelined as Hope, and I do wonder as to whether all of the heroes were actually needed throughout this entire story. And at times, having a whole team of Ant-Man or Ant people who are all able to use the PIM technology takes away the special role of Scott to an extent. We then talk about Cassie Lang, and whilst the actress Kathryn Newton plays her absolutely okay, there are elements of the character that are overly precocious, where she's all too knowing and given the attitude, and this is apparent especially in her opening scenes. And unfortunately, you are going to get the typical accusations of the Mary Sue, the MCU, the girl who is the key to everything, and to an extent, some of those claims are justified with this character. We then move on to Jonathan Majors as Kang, and the performance is good. We do get enough backstory for the character, and there are some genuine moments of both tension and menace about halfway through the movie. The problems really are with Kang's motivations and his overall position, not only in this movie but also with the universe itself and for the phase going forward. And at this stage, I really can't see that Kang will come anywhere close to matching the impact of Thanos, and that's something that's a big problem for Marvel as they go into this multiverse saga and the upcoming Avengers Kang Dynasty movie itself. And as mentioned before, the film does lose itself in an all too frequent big climatic final act where we have constant explosions and armies and fights and energy waves and energy beams. And of course, this is something we should expect from a superhero movie, but after a while it does have a numbing effect, taking the stakes away because it's just an endless wave of spectacle that ends up being exhaustive. Now, it wasn't as bad as some other Marvel efforts because of the shorter runtime, but Marvel really needs to scale back on these final acts and just make them far more immersive and much more important, and less about CGI effects just clashing and bashing against one another. So if I had to give an overall score for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, I would give it a 6.9 out of 10. Again, it's not elite Marvel, but it's nowhere near the disaster that I've seen claimed a lot from many reactions and reviews, which are likely from superhero fatigue and overall a hatred towards Marvel and the Disney brand itself. Now, Marvel have recently announced a scaling back in terms of their release dates of their content, and I think judging from the reaction seen from Quantumania, that's overall a good tactic, as they certainly need some sort of quality control in terms of the overall content that's currently being produced. So those are my overall thoughts and feelings and review of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I will shortly provide a spoiler review in where I will go into far more depth as to the elements of the film that I think worked and the parts that I didn't think worked as well. So look out for that shortly in the future. And if you have any other suggestions regarding any other content or movies or television series or any other issues within the entertainment industry that you'd like to see me cover, then also let me know within the comments and I will see if I can provide further commentary for you on those topics within the future. Please also hit like the subscription and notification buttons so I can provide you with more high quality content like this in the future. But that's it for now. Take care of yourselves and I will see you very, very soon.